whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
Hello. Thank you for joining us. You know, I'm always reading your guys' comments. Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show. And I was Googling. That's why I forgot to hit myself back into the show. This news from SF Tesla. Medoro Valley, new name for Santa Clara County. Or San Jose, I should say. The house where Nikki Medoro lives in San Jose is set to be sprayed following a bug trap testing for West Nile virus. Don't know where they get the mosquitoes. Just my house, SF Tesla? Am I harboring all these? I'm just kidding. So I was trying to Google. I was trying to do a quick Google. Let's see. This was from a day ago. Parts of Palo Alto. Let me see if No. It is Medoro Valley, but my zip code is not included in it. But you know, it's spray away. I don't want the West Nile virus anyway. I just stay inside, keep my dog inside. Wipe everything down. But thank you, SF Tesla, for letting me know. Good afternoon. We have a great show coming up. Rudy Giuliani. He is saying the quiet part out loud. Oops, I lied. Everyone knows you lied, man. Lied as much as you lied about how dark your hair is. So he's conceded, and it's to move the case forward. I know this, but he has conceded that he lied about those poll workers and what they were doing. So we'll get a little bit into that. Of course, the big news today, I'm sure you've already heard about, Donald Trump's lawyers are told to prepare for the indictment surrounding January 6th. Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. If he moves up in the polls, I'm sure I'll be saying it even more. He's, I guess, surging a little bit. And we know how this happens. He's a Republican candidate for president. Now there's videos of him circulating of him rapping. So apparently he's been doing that. And he tried to do one just like off the cuff. So we're just going to have a little bit of fun with that. Also, as of today, we have new poll numbers between Biden and Robert F. Kennedy. I know I have an RFK fan in here. Turn my phone off. Sorry about that. I have an RFK fan, or a few of you in my community. So we'll touch on that. I'm seeing here in the comments that our friend Greg is not a Taylor Swift fan. So you do not consider yourself a Swiftie, huh, Greg? I don't know where you live, Greg. See, I live in the South Bay. For those that don't live in California or Northern California, San Jose, California. I live in San Jose, California, Santa Clara County. Or apparently this weekend, Swifty Clara. You cannot escape it where I am. The reason why it's so top of mind, besides the fact that I really want to go, is because everywhere you go, it's all people are talking about around here. I mean, we went to the store yesterday and it's just all about outfits and it's very in your face. And I've mentioned this before. It is so much like the Super Bowl. Remember when the Super Bowl came to Santa Clara? And it's all like all the news reports. It was like a countdown. It is literally like that. And while I get, Greg, that, you know, Taylor Swift is not everybody's cup of tea, which is fine. Football's not everybody's cup of tea. Let's just, give credit where credit is due. We'll talk about it. Not so much Taylor Swift, but the businesses surrounding this concert and the benefit of it. Now, this isn't the Super Bowl, but I don't know how many of you, if you go to Great America, especially on the weekend, you will know that not all businesses, like food businesses, are either open or stay open the same hours because it's such a business park where Levi Stadium is. So during the week, they may be busier, but on the weekend, it can kind of be a ghost town unless something's going on. And so this is just big business. And of course, the concert's tomorrow and Saturday, but today, They're already, I mean, it's genius marketing. I swear. I mean, people should like take lessons between the Barbie movie and the Taylor Swift on how to freaking market something and make it seem like you have to go and see it and be there. But we'll talk about the business aspect of it and all of that because it is quite interesting. They should, yeah, absolutely take notes, people that want to do it. Okay, what else are we going to talk about? Tesla. Did you hear about Tesla? I want to, if anybody is a Tesla owner, what do you think about this news? It is giving, because my car was involved, the VW diesel emissions scandal from what, like 2015. So Tesla has apparently created this secret team that is suppressing the driving range of these cars. And the reason I hope I have some Tesla owners, I feel, and this is just my opinion, I'm not a Tesla owner, but I don't know how much headlines of this matter. Because if you own a Tesla, I feel like you're all in. I loved my VW diesel Jetta. Loved it. Hated the fact that it wasn't as clean as I thought it was. You know, they bought it back from me. I got some money. I ended up buying my Prius that I have right now. But I loved that car. I really did. I mean, it was a station wagon-ish type of thing, but I liked it. Had great range. I mean, comparable to a hybrid, but it was diesel. And I loved that car. And it took me a while to like accept the fact that it was a lying-ass car. And do Tesla owners feel this way? Do they care? Or do they just are like, yeah, whatever, you know, are you going to really return it? Are you never going to buy another Tesla? Speaking of cars, American teenagers are driving at significantly less numbers. Why do you think that is? Are you experiencing that? Any of the teenagers in your life itching to get their driver's license or not? Because this has been going on for quite a while. I also have this, I mean, it's not funny, but I'm laughing because it turned out okay. But this 11-year-old girl who was arrested. Oh, hold on. First, it was a 13-year-old that crashed into a Stockton fence or home or something like that. I have that story. But then an 11-year-old girl was arrested, not about driving, but creating a false kidnapping report. Yeah, and we hand teenagers car keys and let them drive on the road. There's a proposal to build the world's largest Costco in California, and it's Northern California. It's from Fresno. Is this like the Mall of America? This is going to draw a lot of business, a lot of tourism dollars. You guys tell me. In the second part of the show, I want to get into some of the details about the revamping of San Quentin. More details are coming out because reporters were allowed to kind of go in there and get more information about that. I am encouraged, actually, by some of the information that's coming out. The USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, has a growing checks in the mail problem. They're saying don't put the check in the mail. Why can't they get it together? And how many of you actually put money in the mail? How many of you avoid using certain envelopes or use certain envelopes if you're going to be sending money? We'll get into that. Also, up in the Sacramento area, I've been following the story because I used to live up there. And so I still like read the Sacramento Bee and stuff like that. And I know I have some Sacramento viewers. There has been some new court rulings in the former Sacramento Kings TV radio host Grant Napier's All Lives Matter lawsuit. Interesting. And it's, you know, we've talked about the whole what you actually mean when you say all lives matter. I don't know how many of you are following it, but it's a thing. And, you know, he lost his job as he was suing for wrongful termination, and I think it was like violation of his religious or political beliefs. So we'll talk and touch on that in just a bit. You know, parenting is hard nowadays. Would you let your teenager have elective surgery on their body? One celebrity is admitting that she had breast implants at 19, which is, it's an adult. You're an adult at 19, but she says she would be heartbroken if her daughter did the same. Have you ever had an elective like plastic surgery or know somebody that has and regretted it? And how young is too young to get stuff like this done? And then we will get to something that we weren't able to get to yesterday. One, Jamie Foxx's video that was released. He gave a health update. And two, kind of on the same thing about being there for people when they do have a health scare or a health crisis, this devoted wife that continues to care for her husband, now ex-husband, with her current husband. Would you be able to do that? Would you be able to, I don't know, first off, divorce somebody because they were in a major accident that left them with significant body damage, right? Like they can't move anymore. They can't really talk that much anymore. Could you divorce that person and they get remarried? It's such a touchy topic, but it's something that can happen in the blink of an eye. So we will get to all of that on the Nikki Medoro Show. But first off, click the thumbs up button to show your support of the show. We absolutely appreciate it. Just do it once at the beginning or in the middle or whenever you remember, even if you're watching on replay. The Super Chat is live, and that is a way for you to donate money during the show or during replay as well. But if you do it during the show, when I'm live and you have a comment, I'll read it live on the show. I can give you thank yous live on the show. So it's really fun if you are able to do it during the live broadcast. But we appreciate any dollar support, even during the replay. And some of you do that as well. So just look for the $sign under the live chat box. And then the number one way, and thank you, I think we had 3 new Medorables this week alone. And it's only Thursday. Just go to thenikkimedoroshow.com and become an official Medorable. Jim, if you're in here, I did get your email about the Medorable. We might have to crowd source the ideas. I want to create either a button, maybe a shirt. What do my Medorables want? I want to give you something technically that you can wear, right? And I'm looking for ideas. And Jim, you sent me one. And what Jim sent me was kind of like a cartoon drawing of myself. I never in a million years was going down the put a drawing of yourself on this sort of thing. But that's one idea. He sent me some kind of cute AI generations of it. I was thinking of just the word Medorables with maybe a design. So send them to me. Again, the email is thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. You can reach me there. All the information, including becoming a Medorable, which you can become by donating any amount you can afford. And if you can afford a little bit more, if you're already a Medorable, we would totally appreciate it by going to thenikkimedoroshow.com, click our Patreon link, and you can get in there and become officially part of the cool club. I got the cutest email from somebody that's like, I've been dying to become an official Medorable, and I've signed up, and I love each and every one of you, and just let's grow this community. And then once it is our community, we need to start planning things. I really want to start planning things, especially because the other reminder is on August 1st, which is this coming Tuesday, this show is going to move to the mornings. And so, we can plan things around lunchtime or whatever. I know Mark Thompson's show is going to come right after. Mark is from 11 to 1 then. And then Kim McAllister has hit her 1,000. So it's definitely happening. Kim McAllister, there's the link right on your screen, theafterparty.live. Kim McAllister is hosting a 1-hour after party after my show, after Mark's show. She'll kind of do a roundup again with viewers and listeners, and any other breaking news they'll of course touch on. And so you have to check out Kim McAllister. She's going to knock it out of the park. She's amazing on this show. She's amazing on Mark's show. She's still going to be on both of our shows, doing news updates. But on my show, we're starting off the whole thing. It's going to be in the morning. So, a little bit of a different type of format. She'll still probably start with news and then have maybe another news update during our 2-hour show. But it's going to be fun to move back to the mornings. And again, Medorables, let's plan stuff. Send me some ideas. Of course, I live down here in the South Bay, but we can move things around if we need to. So yeah, it's going to be a great time. And I'm really, really excited to do it. All right, let's get into what's happening today. And of course, Rudy Giuliani. So Rudy Giuliani has conceded that he did make false statements about those election workers. And you will remember, I'm going to show you a news clip that it's going to include it, but you'll remember during the January 6th hearings, they brought these poll workers on who were crying because of what these lies did to their lives. So this is from, I believe it's MSNBC, talking about just exactly what Rudy Giuliani conceded, which it's about damn time.
Years after Rudy Giuliani accused Georgia election workers Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss of fraud during the 2020 election, he is conceding his statements were false. This came in a court filing. It's part of a defamation lawsuit Freeman and Moss filed against Giuliani in 2021. The case accuses Giuliani, who at the time, you'll remember, was representing former President Trump, of publicizing a heavily edited video he falsely alleged showed the two workers somehow changing votes.
Tape earlier in the day of Ruby Freeman and Shay Freeman Moss and one other gentleman quite obviously surreptitiously passing around USB ports as if they're vials of heroin or cocaine. And they're still walking around Georgia lying. They should have been questioned already. Their places of work, their homes should have been searched.
In one of the videos we just watched, Mr. Giuliani accused you and your mother of passing some sort of USB drive to each other. What was your mom actually handing you on that video?
A ginger mint.
A ginger mint.
We had at least 18,000, that's on tape. We had them counted very painstakingly, 18,000 voters having to do with Ruby Freeman. She's a vote scammer, a professional vote scammer. And
get sued over this amount.
She was none of those things. Of course, in a two-page declaration, Giuliani now acknowledges he had, in fact, made the statements about Ms. Freeman and Ms. Moss that led to the filing of the suit, and that the remarks, quote, carry meaning that is defamatory per se. A political advisor for Giuliani says that means, quote, Giuliani did not acknowledge that the statements were false, but did not contest it in order to move on to the portion of the case that will permit a motion to dismiss.
Right.
Giuliani says he still believes his comments are protected by the First Amendment and refused to accept they cause harm to the women.
Because he's an a-hole. That's why. Because he's an a-hole, right? He's like, oh, I just conceded it so it can move forward so we could dismiss it. My ass. But whatever, we're just going to follow it along and make all that happen. Now, again, former President Donald Trump, he is possibly going to be indicted as Trump's lawyers have been told to prepare for another indictment. This is expected to pertain to special counsel Jack Smith's investigation into his role in January 6th. So we'll see if that actually happens. I love Gordon. Gordon says he learned to lie, Giuliani did, from Trump. Everybody's learning to lie. Like it's like it's a master class. It's a master class in lying that you got from President Trump. Why? And it'll be even more so is if there's no consequence for it. That's the problem, is that there's not enough consequences quick enough to stop the lying. They're like, oh, screw it. I'll just keep lying and lying and lying and lying. So we'll see what happens. And again, the next presidential election is coming up so fast. The first debates are happening really, really quickly. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, Gordon saying CBS said today, no indictment for Trump today. Let's welcome Kim to the show. Now, Kim, I believe that just means that they're not going to issue the indictment today. Not necessarily that the indictment won't ever come, unless I'm incorrect about that.
CBS is saying there won't be an indictment. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. The CNN is reporting that Trump said his attorneys had a very productive meeting with the Justice Department. They were trying to delay any possible indictment to buy Trump a couple of weeks. So that may be what happened, and that they were successful in doing that. We'll see. Okay, well, that'll be interesting to watch. Like, I understand if there's no indictment sent down, but no indictment at all. Okay, that's huge. That's huge. That would be a surprise. So that would be, in my opinion, that would be a surprise. But we'll see. Again, I don't want to jump the gun on any of this. If you don't have the case, if you don't have the evidence, if you're not able to do it, I mean, obviously, I personally believe that Trump should be held accountable for what happened on January 6th. If you ask anybody why they were there on January 6th, it was because of Trump and what he was saying about the election. So it's just so freaking annoying. But again, the people that caused all the trouble said we were there because we thought that's what the president wanted. He called us here. We're here because he told us to come. Yeah. That's called being a cult leader too. But that's my opinion, of course. And they organized it ahead of time. You heard from the January 6th testimony that a few days before that, everyone knew that the S was going to hit the fan. right? They were worried. They were
Exactly.
talking about there was something big was going to happen. They orchestrated the whole thing. So.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And I will say, I wish that this would just make him ineligible. Like, I wish that we could just stop talking about Trump because he can't run in the next election. I want that to happen. Like, whether he's thrown in jail, yes, I'd love for it to happen. Whether it can happen, that's another thing. But I just wish he wasn't a candidate anymore, so we could focus on people like Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Kim.
You got it good. Yeah.
Okay, is that close enough? Have you seen? He's a rapper, Kim, because we need more of this on the campaign trail. Here's a little bit of video of him.
Some of these opposition research stories are false, but I will confirm that one is true. I was a little bit of a libertarian freestyler in college and had some fun with it.
Do you remember any of that rapper? Do you have some freestyling to do today, Vivek?
Well, it's not like a kind of thing you remember, right? You just sort of say what you're inspired to say. So, I like, that's kind of what I'm doing on the campaign trail in some sense, is freestyling my message.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
You want to join us on the campaign trail? You want to join us on the campaign trail? You can do that. I often open up. I say, my name's Vivek. It rhymes with cake. It ain't about thee. It isn't about me. It is about thee. The United States is about liberty. So Fox and friends, join us on the trail. We'll have some fun. I'll see you out the trail.
You can't rhyme trail and trail together.
Very nicely done, sir.
That's just terrible. Terrible, but way more entertaining than following Trump, I would have to say. So, and for any RFK fans out there, Biden is so far ahead. As of Thursday, the new average shows Biden with 65.5% support nationally compared to RFK, who's at like 14%. Marianne Williamson was not even measured by 538 because she didn't meet the criteria. She's apparently in the single digits. So I don't know. I'm not taking my eye off RFK in any way, shape, or form.
I love to hear it, but I don't think you discount Trump ever because of what happened. You don't ever discount him. It's just you fight against him until the very last moment.
Well, I just hope he doesn't get the nomination. I really hope that there can be an end and we can run a presidential election without Trump being part of it at all. But even if he doesn't win the nomination, he's going to be a spoiler. But then what's the GOP going to do then? Like, if Trump is like, screw it, I want to be this spoiler for the MAGA party. I wouldn't put it past him, obviously. Yeah. So who knows? But it's only just begun. All right. I do want to say, now that you're here, a big congratulations, because Kim McAllister's show, the after party, has reached over 1,000, which I told you. I should have bet you money.
Yeah.
I told you yesterday. We've been pumping it up since the original announcement. So it is going to happen. It is confirmed. My show, the Nikki Medoro Show, 9 to 11. Obviously, Kim is going to be here as well. Mark Thompson Show, 11 to 1, also with Kim McAllister. And because you can't ever get enough Kim McAllister.
People are going to be so tired of me.
No, they're not. Never. Now she's going to party it up. She's going to party it up in the final hour for the after party live from 1 until 2. And keep subscribing. If you have not subscribed yet, yes, keep subscribing. But she has reached that threshold of 1,000. And so you're definitely going to be doing it on Tuesday, August 1st. So that's exciting. See, I knew there was nothing to worry about. You're amazing,
so
my
to
friend.
me.
I
And
know.
thank you for all your support and
Thank you.
trying to promote people to subscribe to the show. We couldn't have gotten there without you, Nikki. So
It was absolutely my pleasure. And of course, I mean, you're such a major part of this show, of Mark Thompson Show. And again, me, Mark, after party. It's a big old chunk. You never have to take your phone or your computer off YouTube. Just hang out here all day, every day. Update, because somebody emailed me about it. I apologize. I just totally shut down my Google, so I don't have it in front of me. Great America called. They found the phone. I know. There are good people. Remember I was saying good karma happens to good people. So if anybody missed the story, last weekend, my husband and I took our kids to Great America. It was Carnival. It was really funny. My son promised he'd ride every roller coaster, and he did. And at some point in the park, he lost his phone, and he put it on airplane mode because my husband told him to, which is an asinine idea that he will never make his mistake doing again. And so we couldn't track it. It was in the park, but we couldn't track it. And so we had given up. Kim, I'm telling you, when I got off the air yesterday, my son comes up to me. He's like, well, I'm ready to buy a phone. And he was going to pay half and I was going to pay half. And it was going to be reasonable. It was going to be used. And the email was about, going to a used site to get a phone. And I was like, okay, I have to take my daughter to the orthodontist. When we come back, we'll do it. I'm about to go into the orthodontist's office and I get a phone call. And it's just like the stars aligned because I never answer my phone. If you call me and your name does not pop up, sometimes even if it does, I'm not a phone person. I let it go to voicemail. I'm like, this could be a text. Okay. But it said San Jose and it rarely says San Jose. It says like Sacramento because I'm a 916 number still. So I was like, I'm going to answer it. And this woman's like, is this Nikki? Nikki. And I was like, yes. And she's all, this is so-and-so from Great America. And my jaw dropped. I was like, yes. And she's like, I think we have your phone.
Nice.
Never in a million years did I think I was going to find it. I'm just sharing this story again. 1, it's an update. 2, because somebody emailed me about like finding a cheap phone. But 3, there are good people in this world. Yep. Like there just are. Because you could have sold the phone. It was an iPhone 8, so it wasn't the newest phone. But yeah, so he has it. I came home because I had to get his phone lockout number or whatever because I wasn't quite sure of it. And if I give the wrong one, then they're not going to give the phone over. And I come in and he was I'm like, Dylan. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, they found your phone because he was really, really sad. Yeah. What if I lose everything? I'm like, I'm sure if you put your Apple ID, it's been backed up a little bit. You'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he found his phone at Great America of all places. Apparently it was near one of the roller coasters that we made him go on. And so it was turned in. So thank you for everybody that was reaching out about advice on buying a phone.
That's awesome.
I didn't need to spend my money. So instead of doing that, Kim, I spent all day driving around because the other update from my children is, of course, that my daughter is going to the Taylor Swift concert. Big thank you to a friend of the show, Murphy, for helping us out here.
So cool.
And it's amazing. I can't tell you how many stops I made yesterday to try to find an outfit for this girl to go to this concert. I am telling you, I left the house I went to my parents' house probably between 4:30. We didn't get home till almost 9 o'clock at night last night. And now there was an hour-long tutoring session in there as well. But, oh my God, the amount of businesses that are catering to Swifties right now, freaking genius. It is, and I know you guys aren't really into Taylor Swift, not all of you,
Oh
Greg.
my God, everybody in the Bay Area is talking about Taylor Swift tickets.
It is everywhere
you
go
from it.
down here. But it's also the fact of what it's doing to businesses near Levi's. I'm just going to play this a little bit because today is the day I've never heard of this before. Maybe it's happened in other concerts, but I have never heard that they can sell merchandise, official merchandise, before the show is even on. So the concert's on until tomorrow and Saturday. But today, starting at 10 o'clock, they're selling merchandise. Here's a little bit of a report from our friends at KTVU. Because not only are Swifties gearing up, but businesses are as well.
Starting at 8 a.m. Thursday morning, Taylor Swift fans or Swifties can go to Levi's Stadium Red Lot 1 to buy concert merchandise. The merchandise sale begins at 10 a.m. and parking will be limited, so people are asked to use public transportation if they can. Transportation officials say they're ready to handle the crowds.
If we see a huge demand to different places before the concert starts, then we'll kind of go with the flow there and try and put that extra service on if we need to.
Amakai Japanese Cuisine on Great America Parkway says the last time they served Taylor Swift fans was before the pandemic. And although they don't have as many employees now, they're going above and beyond to give good service this weekend.
Of course, if they had the ticket, they will be there. But if they're not, they're just hanging out just to get the spirit of it. Yeah. And of course, we're one of the few that actually sell alcohol. So hopefully if you're over 21, you could hang out at our place. We can play the Taylor Swift music. And have a little drink, have a little food, have a little fun.
With at least 10 to 12,000 people expected to take public transportation to get to the stadium, Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority officials say they've been coordinating with BART and Caltrain for months to prepare for additional riders.
At 4:30 on each day of the concert, we're going to add extra trains to our service. So more trains will be running light rail service will be more frequent along all of our 3 routes to the stadium.
So yeah, I was actually at the Dollar Tree because my daughter wants to make friendship bracelets, which was the only place. Like, again, the business aspect of it. We went to Michael's because she wanted to get the stuff to make friendship bracelets. She could only find, the cord to make it. Right. There were no letter charms or beads anymore with letters to make words. There were none of those left. She actually found them at the Dollar Tree. And so the lady's checking us out and she says, "Oh, are you making a bunch of bracelets for camp or something?" And I'm looking at her, I'm like,
what rock are you under?
Yeah, exactly. And my daughter looks at her, she's like, "No, I'm going to the Taylor Swift concert and we make friendship bracelets to give out to people." And she's like, "Oh, that's right. I'm so happy I'm off because of just what I was playing for you." She's like, "I take public transportation in and I just know it's going to be a freaking madhouse.
It's going to be a zoo." As a matter of fact, the Santa Clara Police Department put out a special Taylor Swift press release talking about all the streets closed around the venue, saying they have now a parent pickup zone at Great America. There are shuttles. They talked about not clogging the streets and people not standing there and gathering and all this stuff. KTVU must have been out there really early. But
people were lining up at midnight.
Yeah, they were out there, but you saw, merch. I mean, it was pretty vacant. Look at the Cron 4. I mean, they've got people look at all of them lining up. And
chairs. I was watching the news this morning because my husband doesn't work too far from there. And I texted him. I was like, "Yo, why don't you go out there?"
People lining up to buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, sweatshirts. Well, you know what I'm hearing on a lot of the things? There's a lot of people that are going because they couldn't get a ticket to the show, but they want the official merchandise.
Yeah, they're camping out for a t-shirt. I can't even imagine.
I think it's just also the community that it's formed. Like, when you go out there that you're going to be with a bunch of diehards like you. And so it's fun like that. I mean, and Kim writes in, "Outfit, put on a pair of shorts and a shirt and call it a day." Oh, my friend. No. The way that you have to dress up for the Taylor Swift is you choose an era. Okay, because it's the Eras tour. So whether it's 1989 or Red or Midnight or whatever the album era is, you dress up for that. So I think Marley's is the Reputation era, which is the last concert we went to as well. So she got this, and I took her to, just doing plugs for local businesses, Plato's Closet, which is a thrift store. Got this dress for $13. Okay. It has these long bubble sleeves. It's a dress. And then I got her a black boa. And apparently you have to wear cowboy boots no matter what you're wearing on top. And so I got her black from Target, black cowboy boots, not real ones. And so now I'm in charge of doing her hair and her makeup tomorrow after I get off air. But she is beside herself.
Yeah,
beside herself excited. So,
and it's all thanks to Murphy.
It's all thanks to Murphy, who I adore you, Murphy. I don't know if you're listening because she's out of town right now. Murphy was going to go and she couldn't. So she had an extra ticket. So thank you. I'm going to do something for Murphy when she gets back into town because she has literally made my kids' life. So yeah, exactly. Okay. Let's do a couple of headlines. When we come back, we're going to turn it away from T Swift and we're going to go to another T. And that would be Tesla. Tesla apparently doesn't want people talking about the fact that their cars don't necessarily perhaps go as far as they say they go or are supposed to go. And I was saying this earlier, Kim, my old VW diesel Jetta was caught up in that diesel emissions scam from 8 years ago.
Right.
They bought it back. I was involved in all of that. This is what it's reminding me of. But the question I want to ask, and the reason why I also bring it up, is how much do Tesla owners care? Are you going to, demand your money back? Are you never going to buy another Tesla? Because every Tesla owner I talk to, they are all in for Tesla. They love their Tesla. And if it's not getting as much of a range, you know it already. You already know that. And you still keep it and you're buying more. So let me know if this changes your view of Tesla at all. American teenagers are also driving less, and the numbers are quite staggering. Why are teens driving less? Do you think that the age of driving should be bumped up, especially because it doesn't seem like that many teens are into it, and those that are like
They
this
don't
13 year.
care.
I
They
know,
don't care
right?
like we did. We were like on our birthday at the
But
DMV.
why?
And
Why
they're
don't
like,
they care?
We'll get to it eventually.
I don't understand it. I feel like, and I tell my kids this all the time. I'm like, I give you so much freedom. I literally, because of the phone, right? Because of the phone, and I could track you. I know where you are. You can call me. Go. Here's a bicycle. And if you're, and if you're John Daly, stay home and get baked. No, like you can go freedom, go to the park, go meet up. They don't want to. They hang out on their phone. So is that why they don't need their phone? They don't need their license anymore. So we'll give you the numbers about how few teens are actually driving nowadays. 13-year-old driver should not get her license anytime soon. An 11-year-old girl is arrested. I have the police cam video, and she totally should have been, but the cops were pretty nice about it. And then there's a proposal to build the world's largest Costco. This came out a couple of days ago, but I wanted to get into it. Like, is Costco going to be like the Mall of America for Fresno if it's built? Because, when I went to Hawaii, that was my first stop was Costco, but it's because it was in Hawaii. I wanted to get a bunch of stuff, and people said that there's only things I could find at that Costco that you can't find at regular ones. But is it going to be a draw? Do you just love your Costco that much? All of those things are coming up. But first, click that thumbs up button. The super chat is also live. I want to say thank you to Wes, who came in for a $5 super sticker.
Thank you, Wes.
And a kiss for you. And Kung Fu Femmes, $10 super sticker. Another kiss for you, too. Thank you, you guys. The support is so needed, and we absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. All right, Kim's news, and then all of that other stuff right after this.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
So no decisions expected today from the grand jury into the investigation into former President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. An official at the federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. told reporters this afternoon no indictments have been returned and none are expected. The grand jury in the investigation was seen convening in the courthouse today. Former President Trump confirmed his lawyers did meet with the Justice Department this morning. He is facing a possible third indictment in this case after revealing he received a target letter from the Department of Justice regarding the January 6th probe. And again, according to CNN, the former president's lawyers met with special counsel Jack Smith in an effort to delay whatever indictment may or may not be coming. I want to show you this video. Something kind of awkward happened with Senator Dianne Feinstein this morning, and it wasn't pretty. It really wasn't. So let's take a look at the video. Apparently, she had a bit of an issue when she needed to vote.
Oh, and this is not something you want to see.
Provides $823 billion. That's an increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense. And it funds priorities submitted.
She's being told to vote. She's not supposed to be reading that.
Okay, just aye.
Thank you. Yeah, and she's told, well, I'll rewind the video a little bit. She's told by Senator Patty Murray from Washington State.
What led to this deal unraveling today?
Oh, my apologies.
So, it's okay. So basically, she was told that she has to.
Yeah, she's told to vote. She says, Senator Patty Murray just says, just vote. Just vote. Here's the way it went down. She says she was meant to cast her vote on the defense appropriations bill. She was supposed to say aye or nay when her name was called in the roll call.
That's it, right.
She doesn't answer, so Senator Patty Murray of Washington State tries to prompt her. Say aye, she said, repeating herself 3 times to Feinstein. Say aye.
Oh, no.
Feinstein then starts to read, which is what you heard from prepared remarks. She was interrupted then by an aide, which you saw whispering into her ear. Yeah, said Patty Murray once again, just say aye. Okay, just, Feinstein said, aye. Patty Murray repeats one more time, and then Feinstein leans back in her chair and says aye. So it's just another one of these moments where you're like,
everyone's too old in Washington. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be ageist. Like, it's a big job, people. But it's on us, the voter. We re-elect these people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they haven't done good for this country. I'm not saying that at all. So frustrating.
Yeah, it's just
That's all
it's
I'm gonna
another
say
one of
about
these
it.
incidents, but I
Yeah.
still feel there's a difference between what we saw just today from Feinstein and of course the call for her to resign and what we saw yesterday from
Right.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, where everyone's like, what happened? Are you okay? Did he have a stroke? But no
He
one
doesn't want
said,
to talk about it.
no one's like, he's got to go, right?
Yes. Yes. You have to go. You
Why-
have to retire. I mean, there
But
needs
why
to
is
be
there
a limit.
difference between what we say to a woman and what we say to a man? I just find it, I don't know, offensive.
I agree.
This 18-year-old is telling a congressional committee that she was deceived by doctors who performed gender reaffirming or gender affirming procedures on her. Chloe Cole said she was 15 when doctors put her on puberty blockers and testosterone and also performed a double mastectomy on her because she believed she was born in the wrong body. So she called gender affirming care one of the biggest medical scandals in US history. Interestingly, they put her up there, but how many people that were helped by it did they put up there? That we don't know. 2 police officers are recovering after a chase in Oakland. I don't know if you heard about this one, kind of a wild one. Undercover officers spotted an armed carjacking in progress near 32nd and West Streets last night. They started going after the suspects and a caravan of other vehicles until the department's helicopter took over this chase. The chase ended when a van plowed into a police SUV. Several arrests made, a gun found at the scene, along with officers, a suspect, and the carjacking victim were also injured in that case. Another roadway situation in the East Bay yesterday. This one happened on Highway 24 in Lafayette. The CHP says people inside 2 cars were shooting at each other yesterday morning on the freeway on Highway 24, causing a crash with a third vehicle. The 2 suspects took off. The driver of the third car stayed, but caused a closure of the roadway for a while. Yesterday, we talked about the death of singer Sinead O'Connor. Today, London police say her death is not being treated as suspicious, but they still really aren't providing many details in this case. O'Connor was found unresponsive at a London address, pronounced dead at the scene. Of course, she achieved worldwide fame in 1990 for her version of the Prince song Nothing Compares to You, which spent 4 weeks at #1 in the United States. There is karma in the world. A Frisco, Texas couple who ran a faith-based pyramid scheme during COVID, now facing a $10 million court judgment. LaShonda and Marlon Moore ran a company called Blessings in No Time out of their home. They promised to bless participants with large sums of money if they bought into their investment scheme.
Oh, it's a pyramid scheme.
Give me money and I'll bless you with money. But give me money and then I'll bless you. We have to wait. An appearance on a reality TV show run by the Oprah Winfrey Network gave an air of legitimacy to investors. Hundreds of people bought in, but never saw their cash again.
Shocking. You know, I was almost, I'm going to be completely honest. This was years and years and years ago. I think right around the time I'm almost having my first kid. I had a really good friend and she was, and I don't know if she ever ended up doing it, but I didn't do it. She was really serious about me doing this kind of what you're talking about, a blessing. So everyone agrees, and I'm just going to throw out numbers. I don't remember what they were. $1,000. Everyone puts $1,000 into a pool, right? And then every month somebody gets that money. And so you'll be blessed with whatever, if there's 8 people, 8 times that, right? And I couldn't wrap my mind around the math of it all, right? And I was like, no, I think I'll just keep my money and you keep your money and do with it as you wish. And they were just so into it. And I can see if it was people you knew, but some strangers being like, I'll bless you with money. Just give me money first. It's like, why don't you bless yourself and leave me out of it?
That's
obviously.
right.
Exactly.
Weird. So the court order sets up a Texas administered fund that will help make the victims whole.
No. Jesus. No.
Members of the Congressional Black Caucus say Black Americans are under attack. Speaking Thursday, the group argued efforts from Republicans are assaulting their rights. Nevada Democratic Congressman Stephen Horsford said at a press conference, "Despite it all, we are not victims. We are not powerless." The event comes as some Republican-led states defy Supreme Court orders, Alabama, to create more majority Black districts. Meanwhile, in Florida, the state's Board of Education approved guidelines requiring teachers to teach the supposed benefits of slavery. I mean,
how else will you learn how to be a slave if you're not in slavery, I guess? Freaking offensive.
So we talked about this already, but lastly, Santa Clara getting ready for the
Swifty Clara. You have to call it Swifty Clara now.
Swifty
Sorry.
Clara. So police will be stationed at 5 intersections to increase public safety in neighborhoods. They say don't park in the neighborhoods.
No.
Taylor
no.
Swift fans are gathering by the hundreds today at Levi's Stadium, not to go to the show, but to get their hands on the merch at the merch truck.
I know.
Yeah, it opened at 10 a.m. People started lining up when the gates opened at midnight just to buy a t-shirt.
I know. It's I'm going to use the word cult again. It is so, it's great marketing. I'm just going to say it over and over again. Excellent marketing. Just
One
crazy.
lady who was interviewed by Cron 4 came all the way from Nevada, and she drove down here, and she also was there this morning to get the t-shirt. She said, "I've taken my girls to all the concerts except one. So we make sure we came for this one too."
Oh, so she is going to the concert. Yeah. And then you guys know that I've like entered every possible I'm not won a ticket for myself, so apparently I'm not going. But yeah, there's a train, the Capitol Corridor train, Sacramento. All these people from Sacramento are coming down.
The hotels are booked.
All the
hotels are packed.
The Hilton. So the Hilton is the one that's like on the property, like
right next to the venue.
Right next to it. And so people apparently book the hotels with windows facing Levi's so they can watch the concert and hear it from their room. That is how much people are willing to be there. It is.
You can watch the concert you can see into the stadium from
because they have so many screens that you could see it from outside.
Wow. I didn't know you could look over and see in.
You can, because it's open. You've never been to Levi's?
No.
So like in the parking lot, you could see, it's not the best view, but you could see the Jumbotron from there. So,
okay.
Yeah. Some people are paying tickets to see Taylor Swift and they're seeing the back of the friggin' screen. So I don't know, man.
I wonder how much those rooms are going for.
Oh, they're already, it's already sold out. So I'm assuming a lot.
Wow.
I think the moment she announced that she was coming, they got booked instantly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't get a hotel room in Santa Clara right now, or probably San Jose anyway.
No.
Everyone's coming to the Taylor Swift concert.
It's gonna be nuts.
The Nikki Medoro Show is crowd-funded, which means we rely on you to fund the show. You can find us at the NikkiMedoroShow.com. Got to put the in there.
Yes.
Patreon link, PayPal link, it's all there, and the super chat is live. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
And speaking of the super chat, happy birthday, Harry, and thank you for the $50.
Oh,
Harry, you are awesome. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Harry. Happy birthday to you. Half a century. Congratulations. That's a big one. That's
Happy
a good
birthday.
one. I'm glad I'm not older. Heck, every birthday is a big one, and every day is a blessing. So happy birthday, and thank you for the donation. Yeah. Also, Kung Fu came through with the $10 super sticker. Wes started us off, as he often does, with a $5 sticker. Yeah. Thank you. And again, just like you need the in the NikkiMedoroShow.com, you also need the in theafterparty.live. So that is Kim's show that she's doing after Mark Thompson's, starting on August 1st. Kim, John Daly will be there as well. Go to theafterparty.live and subscribe. But it's happening because she has passed that threshold of 1,000 subscribers very, very quickly. I knew there was no doubt. I knew you were going to get it. I had complete confidence in our supporters. Okay.
Nice.
It's going to be fun. And that, again, starts on Tuesday, August 1st. Okay, so let's talk some Tesla. How many Tesla owners do I have? And do you care that according to Reuters, Tesla performed, quote unquote, intentional inflation about the range estimates of its electric vehicles? And apparently, this was under the guidance of CEO Elon Musk. Now, apparently, there was some anonymous source that said that Tesla began this a decade ago. They started using some sort of algorithm that would inflate the projections at full charge. And then once Tesla's reached 50% state of charge, the numbers were a bit more realistic. So then the driver wouldn't be screwed. They wouldn't be stranded in, the dead car. And there would be apparently this 15-mile buffer allowing the vehicle to drive on the battery after it reaches zero. Now, according to the source, Elon just wanted to show a good range number when fully charged. Then, and on top of this, and on top of like the BS of the range, right? Tesla also created what's called a diversion team last summer that focused solely on canceling service appointments from customers who were concerned about their vehicles falling short of those misleading range estimates. They're like, oh, there must be something wrong with my car. I'm supposed to be able to go this far, and I'm not able to. Let me bring my car in because, they do all their services over, software. It's like a software fix or something because you're basically driving a computer. Now, according to the story, team members would hit a note on a xylophone after each cancellation, and the employees were told that at each canceled appointment saved the company about $1,000 because you know what? Elon Musk needs that money because he bought overpriced Twitter or X, pardon me. Now, Tesla has not responded, but companies, let's say, according to The Verge, companies like Apple have admitted issues with their prediction algorithms before. Apple faced it with their iPhone 4 dropping the signal. Then, of course, there was Batterygate where they throttled your phone, right? People were always saying that, like, my phone's not working once it starts hitting it and they come out with a new one. So what do you think? Does this change your mind about if you own a Tesla, your Tesla? Have you seen this before? And do you care? We were talking about marketing, and Louis says Tesla's very good at marketing. Aren't they, though? Aren't they, though? He says, best car I've ever owned, irregardless what the actual mileage that I can drive.
Oh, okay.
Regardless. It's regardless. Yes. Ricky says, I bought and sold mine 17 years ago. I think I'm missing what you were talking about, Ricky. I'm assuming you're not talking about your Tesla. But, I would say this. If you like your car and it still only goes as far as it goes, okay. But just be on the up and up, Elon, right? I mean, for me, like I was saying, that diesel emission scandal with Volkswagen and others, I was pissed because I bought the diesel thinking I was doing good for the environment because it was like the cleanest ever. And on top of that, I got amazing gas mileage. Win-win.
Did you feel duped?
Oh, I was pissed. I was pissed also because I had to give up my car because it was bad, right? And I liked it. I liked my car. It had get up and go. I thought it was much cuter than my Prius. My Prius, I did not buy for looks. I do not think that Priuses are cute cars at all. I am not, I'm not driving with my window down, pumping my music, being like, yeah, look at me. No. I got a cracked windshield that I refuse to fix because I drive too much and it's not in my range of sight. So I don't give two licks about how my Prius looks, but I do care that it gets good gas mileage. I mean, I get at least 50 miles per gallon and I have about like a 9 to 10 gallon tank. So it's great. And I don't know what I'm going to do once this car is either driven into the ground. How much do I have? I mean, I think I'm probably around 180,000, Right. I mean, I maintain my vehicle. I take it in. I even take it into freaking Toyota and overpay for service, but I just want it there. But my Prius is awesome. Now, I know that Elon Musk wants us all to get electric cars, but I don't know how I feel about all that. One, because of our electric grid and the availability of all the electricity and the charging stations and what have you. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is the range. If I'm up a creek, I know that I'll never, as long as I can find a gas station, I'm okay. Like if my hybrid, if the electric part goes all out, I can still tap the gas. That's the problem with electric vehicles. I would not want to be caught in a place that one doesn't have a charging station nearby, or I have been duped and my car isn't going as far as it said at the beginning it would go at a full charge. So, Phineas, you just gave up your Tesla. My goodness. Okay. What'd you buy? Let me know, Phineas. What were you going to say?
Why did you let your Tesla go? That's interesting. Yeah. So my sister has 2 Teslas.
Oh, so
Bought
she's drank the
one,
Kool-Aid. Okay.
loved it so much. Well, they put a power wall in their house and they put solar panels on their roof. They don't buy gas anymore. That
That's
expense is
awesome.
gone.
Yeah.
Right. And so they are loving it. They love the supercharging stations. Like if they have to drive to Los Angeles for some reason or to certain
Right.
areas where you go and you like, I don't know, you pay a fee and they charge your car like extra fast. So you don't have to stand there waiting a long time. They like the infrastructure that Tesla has provided for those cars. And so for them, it's like, okay, we're going to flip this lifestyle. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to be this family now. And
How do they feel
extremely
about
happy with it.
would they be okay with the superchargers, being fixed so anybody with an electric car can use those spots? Because that's what they're thinking.
I know. I heard that. I think they'd be annoyed by it. I haven't asked her that. But I think, they want first preference. They bought the car. They expected this to happen,
We want to change our lifestyle. We don't want all these other electric cars.
Only if you're going to buy a Tesla. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, because I understand the motivation of making that switch. She also, she lives here in California, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So California, if this is the only area you're driving, we're dedicated to this sort of thing. We're going to make, we're committed to having charging stations, Tesla, all that. Okay. What if you want to drive cross country? What if all of your cars are Teslas, all electric vehicles? I would be concerned.
There's a battery of charging stations across the country strategically located.
So if on the path that I'm going to take, there's enough.
Well, you gauge your path, you set your path based on where the charging stations are. So that every so many miles you need to be by a charging station. You figure it out. Right?
John says, I talked to a couple Tesla Uber drivers. They told me they don't go as far as they say. And this was like a year ago. Yeah. Jim has a great point. In the last hurricane requiring an evacuation in Florida, too many electric cars ran out of juice and were left on the freeway. Exactly. Now, if you can you do and I don't know this because I don't have an electric car. Can tow truck drivers charge your car? You know how a tow truck driver can bring you a gallon of gas so you can get going? I don't know. Is there some sort of technology? Is there a portable charging station?
That would be a good idea, but I don't think so.
Business idea. I'm trademarking it. There you go. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, because if you're out of gas, right? If you're in a hurricane evacuation and your car ran out of gas, somebody can come bring you a gallon to get you going or whatever.
Right.
Can that happen with electric cars? I have no idea. We need to move away from fossil fuels, people. We just really do. It's better for the environment. It is. Now, I'm not saying 100%. I don't think it will ever be, but we shouldn't depend as much as we do currently on it because of all the negative effects of it. Okay. So I understand that. But one, we need to generate electricity in a cleaner way as well. Right. And two, if you want a huge state like the state of California to go all electric, that infrastructure better friggin' be there on day one of that flip. Now, I know these are only new cars. It's going to take years before everyone is phased out, right? It's just going to. But still, if you're going to promote something and people buy into it, that infrastructure better be there. And Elon, you've done a great job marketing these cars to people. Absolutely. I mean, I can't go anywhere. There's a blue Tesla that is regular. I don't know if we're just all on the same wavelength at my daughter's tutoring place. I always end up parking next to this blue Tesla. It doesn't matter what day I go. Doesn't matter what time I go. Apparently we're on the same schedule. And I'm always parking next to this blue Tesla. And I don't know which one it is, but it's the one that kind of looks like an SUV. It's not like the car one. I don't know. I'm not a Tesla owner. But the person loves it. They sit in it. They seem to be happy about it. But I think they just hang out in the South Bay. But everywhere I go, there's a Tesla. Everywhere I drive, there's a Tesla. And people love those cars. I don't think that this news is going to take too many people or make them turn in their car and not drive it anymore. I just feel like they love it. But you know who's not driving a Tesla or anything else? American teenagers. Why do you think teenagers are driving less? So apparently the share of teenagers with driver's licenses in the 16 to 19 age range, okay? It declined from 64% in 1995 to under 40% in 2021.
That's interesting.
Now, obviously, there's the obvious reasons, right? It's expensive to own a car. We knew, especially during COVID, the cost of used cars was really up there. Gas is more expensive. Also, there's been the delay in when you're a fully licensed driver, and that started years ago. So, you can't necessarily drive at night right away. You can't have passengers under a certain age.
Right.
So until like you're 17 or 18, I would say, is when you would even have full driving privileges. Unlike our generation, Kim, 16th birthday, hand me the keys. I am out.
We're running. Done.
And I look at 16-year-olds now and I'm like, what were my parents thinking? I've told you, the first day I got my license, I almost drove over a whole thing of garbage cans in the street. Picked up my boyfriend, trying to light a cigarette, drive a stick shift, and change the radio probably, and almost took out a whole thing of garbage cans.
Did you ever have an unrealistic expectation that you were going to get a certain car, like as you approached the time that you were going to get your license?
Well, I knew the car I was going to get because my grandmother, who was alive at the time, she lived with us my whole life, adored my brother. Like I have a relationship with my grandmother, but my grandmother had a completely different relationship with my older brother. So when he turned 16, she got him, it was a stock car, which meant it was totally basic, but a Hyundai Excel.
Okay.
It was a basic kind of small Hyundai Excel. And my parents told her, if you do it for my brother, you have to do it for her. And so she did. She did. So I knew what I was going to get.
Yeah.
And it was maroon. I named it Elvis. And I totaled I totaled that car.
Oh no.
3 weeks before I was leaving for college. I had no car when I went to college. I was so freaking bummed. Somebody slammed into the back of my car going like 80 miles per hour. It's a major accident. Yeah. But when I was 16, I definitely knew. Did you know what you were getting at 16? Or did you get a car?
I had an unrealistic expectation that somehow I was going to get a red convertible, right? Nothing else would do. And so
that's awesome. You're like, I'm going to get this dream car. I live in a movie.
I'm going to get a red convertible. That's what I want. That's what's going to happen. Like, that's the car I'm going to get. Right. Like we get to pick our car. Like we pick out a t-shirt. This is what I want.
Red bow on 16th birthday. There
Thank
you go.
you.
McAllister's world. Okay.
So, and I, I'm lucky to get anything at all. Right. So my dad talks to my great grandfather, who has had this old 1968 Mustang up on blocks for like, more than 2 decades.
Right.
And they fix it up and they drive it up and it's like pea green with a black top, but it's a Mustang. And I turned my nose up at it because it wasn't what it was green. It was, I thought, ugly, and it wasn't what I wanted. And so my dad says, I've got this car for you. We're going to bring this Mustang up and we're, it's ready for you now. And this is going to be your car. And I said, but that's not the car I want.
Look at snotty little Kim McAllister over here. You a grateful child.
That's exactly right. And my dad goes, oh, that's not the car you want, huh? Well, how about no car at all?
I would have said the same friggin' thing.
And he meant it. And it was at that moment where it was like a light bulb moment where I was like, oh, what did I just do? And oh my God, I am the snottiest girl in the entire world. I should have been grateful.
Yes.
But that was a lesson. That lesson, I needed it. I mean, I needed it. I was brought down to like, oh,
how long did you not have a car?
I want to say, he carried it on for about 6 months.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And so I really thought that I had screwed myself. Well, now I've got Julia, who's going to be 14 this month.
Yep.
And she is convinced she's getting a Jeep. She's got a song every
Where
time
did
we
she
drive
get
by
that
a Jeep.
idea?
She wants a Jeep. She's singing every time we go by Jeep. She's like, Jeep, Jeep, I'm a Jeep, beep, beep. And she's got this.
Do you
Jeep
look at her
thing.
and like, are you saving money for said Jeep? Because we're not buying
the cost of a Jeep and they're expensive. Like, I don't know, $60,000 for a Jeep. And I'm like, sister, you're not getting a Jeep. Let me tell you, you'll be lucky if you could drive the old family car from, 12 years ago.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
well,
she's probably going to end up in my shoes just the same way.
Well, I pop bubbles left and right with my kids. So my daughter always looks at me. She's like, I'm getting your car, aren't I? And I was like, yeah. And I'm going to get the new car. If I'm spending money on something, child, it's going to be myself. There is no way in hell you should buy. And I was a stock car, the Hyundai XL. I dinged that thing again. Almost took out trash cans. I'll never forget. I was high school. I was in the parking lot of a grocery store. I'll never forget it. I was in the car with one of my girlfriends. My other girlfriends were in another car. And I remember I was reversing, looking at my friends, singing music, looking at them and waving. And all of their faces are looking at me with this confused look as I slam. And I was only going like 10 miles, not even. I was in the parking lot backing up, slam into like one of those cement light pole posts in the grocery store. Just not paying freaking attention. And we hand these children keys. But yeah, I feel like I'm a good driver now, but I was just a total typical teenager. And
we used to live by at the beach at Aptos. And I remember that old green Mustang, there were these poles that you turned in. It was like a beach alley. You had to turn in to get to our driveway. And I turned a little too close to the pole. Crunch. I mean, all four corners of that car.
Yeah, I am not buying kids his parents Range Rovers. Do you have like a mechanic, somebody to do paint jobs left and right? Because I don't give a crap how rich you are. Teenage drivers, ding, dang. It's like bumper cars sometimes.
You have to expect it. Yeah.
You have to expect it. So no, my daughter's getting my Prius, and I told her, I'm like, obviously I'm keeping up the car. It's in 2 years, this car is totally going to be fine. And yeah, it's not the sexiest car, but you don't need a sexy car. You need a car that gets good gas mileage because you're going to be working part-time for gas money. You're going to want to be driving around. Phineas writes in, I worked for my first car, a beat up 65 Mustang fastback. Yeah. You know, like, and you need to have some skin in the game. You absolutely need to. Oh, John Daly, I ended up buying my own Chevy S10 pickup with that sweet Mickey D's money. Oh, John Daly, do you have a picture of yourself in a Chevy S10 pickup? Because I would love to see that. Absolutely. I was never a truck person. My husband's been a truck person. He's had some SUVs. I drive my husband's truck, I guess. My brother had a piece of crap Jeep that was his nickname, POS, because it was a total piece of crap. Now, Luis says teenagers drive less because Uber mom and dad drive them everywhere. And Sandy has the best response. Writes in, I wonder why they want their parents to drive them instead of learning to drive themselves. I cannot imagine wanting to rely on my parents as a teenager. I wanted independence. Exactly. That's what I don't understand about kids nowadays. I look at my kids and they don't want to go anywhere. I'm like, get out. I'm letting you go. Go.
Yeah. The world, and when you get those car keys, the world opens up, doesn't it?
Bye. I'm going to the beach. I'm going
no Jeep for you. Yep.
Yeah, no. I would not buy Julia a Jeep. Sorry, Julia. Oh
my God.
Hold on. No. John Daly, you need to find this picture during our news break and send it in so we can post it. Laying on top. I mean, that should be like a dating profile pic or something. I don't know, man. Because trucks, but they're gas guzzlers. Except unless you get the Rivian or whatever. John says, my first time driving by myself, I went to fill the tank and hit the gas pump.
Oh, God.
How much was gas when you started driving, Kim?
Oh, I don't even remember.
99 cents a gallon. I know.
Was it?
You want 99 cents a gallon. I totally remember this. I remember when it broke $1. I was pissed. Because I could get exactly the amount of gas, and my tank was only like $10, right? Or I don't think it was 20 gallons on an XL. It had to be like 10 gallons. $10. Fill it up. Jim says, think about the traffic when you were 16. Open road was fun. Now open road is 5 miles in traffic. Maybe. They don't know any different, though, right? There's nothing to compare it to. They just live in this world. Harry, why would kids want to go out when they can gather online and play Fortnite or Minecraft? I mean, I guess it's safer, but I don't know. I loved driving. Driving over Highway 17, listening to Enya. Just loving that road so much. I mean, come on, people. Yeah, Gordon, 99 cents, right? Karen, 50 cents. I wish.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I remember under $1 in gas, 97. Yeah, because I graduated high school in 96. And so I got my license, a year or two before that? A year. Yeah. So it was under $1. Elise says, I bought my friend's grandma's 84 blue Chevy Celebrity for my first car. Well, when I totaled my car, the only option I had for so long was my parents' 1980 Toyota Corona, not a Corolla, a Corona. It was a station wagon. It was so bad. It was so old when I was driving it that when you slowed, and it was a stick shift, when you slowed down too much, like to make a U-turn, it would turn off and you had to restart it. I got so good at restarting it. I could work this, I could downshift, make a U-turn and turn the key, putting in the clutch like it was nothing. Now kids nowadays, the stick shift is like a foreign language to them in many cases. So yeah. LAX says lots of teens take Lyfts and Ubers. Some parents really like the fact that they are not going to be drinking and driving. I was literally just reading an article about, or somebody posted on social media, and I didn't know that Lyft offered a family account. Where
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. It said the best thing that I did when my kids, kind of grew up or, went to college or whatever, was I signed them up for my Lyft family account. And they said, it's for you. You don't have to drive anywhere. Just call a Lyft and it's paid for. You don't have to worry about it. And they say that their kids have come back to them saying, thank you. That's like the best thing that you've ever done for me, is because I never feel like I'm stranded.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. I'm loving this. You guys can keep letting me know in the comments. And John Daly, I expect that picture. Pronto, please. I want to see you in your truck. I don't know, John. I just never imagined you with a truck. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right. Yeah. Let me know what your guys' first cars are, because that's pretty fun. All right. I will touch on the 13-year-old driver. This is why teenagers shouldn't have cars, but 13 is obviously too young. Crashed into a Stockton fence. An 11-year-old girl, I have the body cam footage, arrested because of an online challenge, people. That's what she's saying. And do you want to go to the world's largest Costco? Is this something that we're just itching to do? We'll also touch on more details coming in about the new revamp over at San Quentin. And the Postal Service is saying the check should not be in the mail. Stop putting checks in the mail. All right, that's all coming up. I'm going to let you know.
No.
Do not put those checks in the mail.
That's a good tease.
I know. I'm such a tease, Kim. I'm so good at it. All right, that's all coming up after Kim's news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Let's start, why don't we, with former President Trump, and no decisions expected today from a grand jury investigating the former president's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. An official at the federal courthouse of Washington, D.C. told reporters this afternoon no indictments have been reported and none are expected today. The grand jury and the investigation was seen convening at the courthouse today, though. The White House ruling out a pardon for Hunter Biden. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was asked about it and said no when the question came of whether a pardon for the president's son was possible. She repeated the Justice Department is independent and the president respects the rule of law. This comes after Hunter's plea deal involving tax and gun charges fell apart on Wednesday. A new report says San Francisco does not have the highest rate of homelessness in California after all. The report released yesterday by the San Francisco Comptroller shows Oakland and Los Angeles have more people experiencing homelessness than does San Francisco. The number in Oakland came in at 1,147 per 100,000 residents, compared to San Francisco's 887. The rate in Los Angeles, 1,077. The report also revealed San Francisco had the largest decrease in unsheltered homelessness in the West Coast over the last couple of years. According to the city, it would cost $1 billion to provide shelter for the unhoused population. Mother of one of the victims of the Uvalde shooting in Texas is now running for mayor. This is Kimberly Rubio's daughter, Lexi, one of the 19 students and 2 teachers killed in last year's massacre. Since then, she has become an activist for gun violence prevention and again, now running for mayor. New federal legislation named after one of the victims in the Parkland, Florida school massacre, would increase safety measures on campus. There's a group of lawmakers introducing what they're calling the Alyssa Act and the SOS Act while on Capitol Hill. The measures would require silent panic alarms in all schools across the country and would increase the number of school resource officers. Alyssa Al-Hadaf was one of 17 victims killed at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas when a gunman opened fire there in 2018. Alyssa's father asked lawmakers to come support the legislation in order to quickly move it forward. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's sudden freeze-up yesterday during a news conference is renewing concerns about his overall health. Nearly 2 weeks ago, the 81-year-old Kentucky Republican leader reportedly tripped and fell while getting off an airplane at Reagan National Airport. McConnell wasn't seriously hurt, but sources say he's recently been using a wheelchair as a precaution when he navigates crowded airports. There's a buoy in Manatee Bay, Florida, which showed an ocean temperature reading of more than 101 degrees this week. It's a critically hot reading for an ocean. It's especially concerning for coral reefs in that area, which typically thrive at temperatures between 73 and 84. That, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, it's the latest worrying sign of the effects of climate change on the world's ocean. You go into the pot store, the dispensary, trying to get your marijuana, pull out your credit card. That's a nope. MasterCard debit cards can no longer be used for marijuana purchases. A MasterCard spokesperson said yesterday that the federal government considers cannabis sales illegal. So these purchases are not allowed on their system.
Ridiculous. That is so stupid.
Nope.
How are we supposed to buy it? Apple Pay?
Well, no, because if your MasterCard is hooked up to your Apple Pay, that's a no-go, right?
So how just cash? Because that's safe. Just, tons of cash
Just
in the
cash.
marijuana dispensary.
Gotta have cash. Well, most won't take debit cards because banks don't consider it a legal transaction either. So now you can't use your MasterCard if that was the credit card that you had. Most U.S. banks don't service cannabis payments because marijuana is still illegal at the federal level. So yeah, cold hard cash.
Lame.
California sea lions are going viral again. From a tourist viewpoint, might look like the sea lions are charging toward people on a beach in La Jolla. A tourist recorded the video on Sunday making the rounds, but experts from SeaWorld say it looks more like a turf war between two sea lions and humans just getting in the way. SeaWorld says it looks, rescuer curator Kim Peterson says it's a reminder to follow federal guidelines and stay 50 yards away from sea lions. Plus, it's currently sea lion breeding season. So
that's probably why they're pissed. They're like, we want a bone. Leave us alone. Go away.
They're
bye.
Really protective of their space. By the way, and I know it's not sea lions, it's the otter in the Santa Cruz area, the surfing otter. They can't catch him. They've been trying to catch that otter.
That's what you have to do. Make a movie about it.
And now there's an otter fan club with people gathering on the shore to root on the otter to, that's eluding efforts to catch him. So
does he have a name yet? I feel like we should give him a name.
We should give him. I don't know. I'll have to look it up.
Well, there's Potter the otter who drank water. Does anybody remember that drinking water book from? No. Potter the otter. You should look it up. I read that book so many times to my kids about drinking water and not juice. But Potter the otter seems too easy. We need a better name than that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to look it up.
Okay.
The Nikki Medoro Show is crowdfunded, which means we rely on you. And you can find us at theNikkiMedoroShow.com along with the podcast link, the Patreon link, the PayPal link, the merchandise link. All the links are there. And that's where you can help us fund the show. Also, the Super Chat is live here on the Nikki Medoro Show. I'm Kim McAllister, and this is the Nikki Medoro Show.
There you go. And thanks again to Harry and a happy birthday with a $50 Super Chat donation. And another 10 from Kung Fu Femmes and another 5 from Wes. Nice. We love you. We love you. We love you. And again, happy birthday, Harry. That's so generous of you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I have it. He sent it to me. We're talking, if you're just joining us, we're talking about cars, the first car you ever had. Here we go. John Daly, I love this picture of you. This is John Daly on his Chevy S10. I was expecting a little different of a pose when you said I was laying on it. Okay.
Yeah. I expected like a sexy laying on a piano pose.
Exactly. That's a very, very cute picture. of the John Daly. There's another one, not with the truck, but there you go. Love that picture, John. That is really, really cute. There's somebody else in the comments was saying they had a Toyota Corona. You know, I just feel like I would have driven anything back then. I would have driven anything. And, you know, yes, kids are not the best drivers, but I will say I just wanted my freedom. And maybe that's what this 13-year-old, or pardon me, 11-year-old, was it 11? No, a 13-year-old driver crashed into a fence in Stockton after leading authorities on a chase. Have anybody joyride as a kid, underage driver? Anybody take the car? I didn't joyride. I think I've shared this story. I did. Actually, the very first time I ever drove a stick shift, I drove it directly through my parents' garage door.
Oh, God.
Now, I still maintain to this day, and my parents do as well, that it wasn't my fault. It was my brother's fault. In his brand new Hyundai Excel that he had, he told me to pull it up into the driveway that's right in front of the house. And he thought, idiotically, that I would stall because it's a stick shift. Little did he know I can understand directions very, very, very well. And he told me, he's like, put the clutch in. He's all, when you start to release it, the car is going to roll back because we were on an incline because of the driveway, right? Slight incline. He's like, when it rolls back, just gently hit the gas. And he thought that I would just stall out. But no. I understand how to do things. And so except the whole gentle part I didn't get. So I let the clutch out. I slammed on the gas and I went right through the garage door. So not much of a joyride. But of course the parents, you know how it's like in the movies, parents come home right after something terrible happens, which is what they did. We still tell the story. My dad was in a Cadillac, his Cadillac. Slow. It was like a boat or a funeral coming down the street. All the neighbors are out. I'm screaming and crying in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure something like that might have happened for this 13-year-old crashed into the fence in Stockton. There was also a 12-year-old passenger inside. Can only imagine the conversation happening there. Deputies had tried to stop the car that was driving with no headlights around 1:15 in the morning. Hello, parents. Do you know where your children are? The driver led the officers on a chase, running several stop signs and eventually crashing into a fence and fire hydrant. Both the passenger and driver were medically cleared. The passenger released to her parents. The 13-year-old female driver, if we wanted to think that this was boys doing this, the 13-year-old female driver was booked at a juvenile hall. Yeah, bunch of girls. Let's go see our boyfriend. I don't know what they're doing. They're just probably having a good old time.
My best friend is a year older than me.
Right.
And she had her license before me, but she also had her permit before me. And so she was learning how to drive when one night she decided it was a good idea to steal her mom's car out of the garage.
No.
I was in the passenger seat. We rolled it out quietly. Didn't turn on the engine. It rolled down the because it's on the driveway. So it
could roll on its own. Yeah.
And then the engine she didn't turn on the engine till the street. And we turned the light.
Look
kept
at
the lights
you.
off. Yeah, and we did go for a bit of a joyride. Nothing bad happened, but for that reason, my husband let my daughter, who again is currently 13, soon to be 14, drive.
Right.
It was in an area that there weren't many people. Like it was. In
Marley
a
is
parking
dying
lot.
for me to let her drive my car, and I'm like,
let her drive. He gave her a little mini driving lesson, but she doesn't even have a permit yet. And I'm thinking to myself, don't teach her how to drive. If you teach her how to drive, it'd be very easy for her to go on a joyride. If she doesn't know how, she can't do it.
Well, tell me about it. I have a Prius. That damn thing doesn't even make a sound. You could just hop right in.
Oh,
Bye.
No.
I mean, I'm never going to teach Nugget to stop barking. But yeah, exactly. Sam, it's Kim that had the 1965 Mustang Fastback, right? Was that your car?
Mine was a 1968.
68. Yeah. So if Kim, you have a picture of that, you'll have to find that. I don't think I have, at least not at the ready. I don't think I have one of me in my first car. And mine was not as sexy as a Mustang. Mine was a hatchback Honda Excel. So
here's the thing about that old Mustang. It was a cute car, but I was like,
you're a snot. It was not a red convertible.
I was a complete snot. And I was very quickly put in my place. Absolutely.
See, I mean, would have. I do, and to this day, I really actually don't care. I'm not a car person, so I'm like, yeah, would it be nice to have a convertible or whatever? Fine. I need to get from A to B and probably a million stops in between, especially now that I'm a parent. So just get me there, make it so I don't spend too much money on gas, and I'll be happy. Look at this video. Let me see. Oh, look how. That is an awesome car. And look how cute she is. Kim McAllister, you have the best smile. Even though this isn't even a close-up, like you could just see. Oh, look at you.
That's
you
the old
snot.
car. That's the
I
car
would
that
have
I
killed to
turned
have that
down.
car.
Is that not a cute car? Yeah,
that
but I
is
didn't want
so
it because
cute.
it was pea soup green.
Oh, who gives a crap, man? You had a Mustang. Look how cute she is. Oh,
Yeah, I was styling in that car. We would put all the I was living in with my dad in the Santa Cruz area at the time. So all my friends would pile in and we'd drive over the hill to San Jose
Oh,
to,
look at that.
go dancing.
That is so fun. That is, that's a really cool car. Did anybody any of your friends put you in your place and be like, this is an awesome car?
I don't think I told anybody. I think I was so mortified and embarrassed by the lesson that I had to learn.
But did anyone tell you had a cool car?
Yeah, oh yeah, people loved it. Although there was a girl at my high school, she came from a really wealthy family and she had a red convertible 65 Mustang. And it was such a better car than mine. Yeah, that's what I wanted, but that's all right.
It's okay. Oh,
But then
all
you
right.
see these parents who give their kids these cars that go too fast. They're like speed racing cars and you're like, that's just a mistake waiting to happen, right?
I wouldn't give, in all honesty, and not to be a party pooper, but I would never give a kid a convertible because one, it would be down. And if you've ever talked to anybody, first responders, they would never buy a convertible because of what it does when you get into an accident. Like, just use your imagination.
Right. Exactly.
And it's awful. So, but yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Would I love a convertible Mustang? My friend had a Mustang. It wasn't a convertible, but it was red. My friend in high school had one of those. I was happy with my Hyundai XL. There you go. Now, speaking of snots, not like Kim McAllister snot, but a different type of snot. An 11-year-old girl has been arrested and charged with a felony after falsely reporting that her friend had been kidnapped when she says she was inspired by an online challenge. Thinking it would be funny, the 11-year-old girl sent a text to a dispatcher at the Sheriff's Communications Center at like 9:45 in the morning, informing them that her 14-year-old friend had been kidnapped by an armed male driving a white van on South I-95 in Oak Hill. This was in Florida. Shocking. Look at this video. This is this girl. And remember, 9:45, and can you be an after-school special? Like, it was a white van and a man. Like, just please, just stop. Here's the video. Now, the girl's face is going to be blurred out because she's only 11 years old. Now, I think the cops did a pretty good job. I'm going to preface this. I think they did a pretty good job of kind of putting a little bit of fear into her. She is 11. But yeah, here's the girl getting in trouble.
Stay calm. You can talk to your parents. We can open the window and let you talk to them. Nothing's going to happen to you. Do you understand that? Okay.
I'm telling you this right now. You're going to take this as a lesson at 11 years old that if you do something stupid in the future, you're going to enjoy those cuffs.
I'm not going to do this again. You know, this is going to be an opportunity for you to turn this into a learning experience. This is not something you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life, okay?
Well, apparently, and I didn't know that. Apparently, maybe she was taken to juvie. I didn't think that she was, or maybe you were talking about the person that had stolen the car. No, because the article I says it's just at home with her family. So, but yeah, reportedly she got the idea to prank 911 through a challenge she watched online, thinking that it would be funny. Oh no, she was taking the Family Resource Center after the incident before being transferred to the Juvenile Detention Center where she currently remains. You are right. Yeah. The sheriff took the opportunity to warn parents about just how important it is to closely monitor your kids' social media use. I don't know, man. I'm glad they took her to juvie, actually. You got to scare the crap out of some of these kids. There are consequences to your actions. And not only that, look how many cops were there or deputies were there.
Waste of
the waste of resources. Yeah. And it's insane. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, these are These are
Can you
the
imagine her
children.
parents? You what? What did you do?
There are so many. I mean, as a parent, your kids do. I mean, it's just natural. Your kids are going to do stupid crap. You get it. Can we not get the police involved, please? I don't want to open my door. My friend in Idaho, she's had a couple of these moments where, the cops have brought her teenage 17-year-old daughter, 16 turning 17-year-old daughter home. Oh, we caught her and her friends hanging out at a pond they're not supposed to be at, drinking White Claws they're not supposed to be drinking,
God.
and they're not them or anything like that. But it's like, I just always tell my kids, do not. Just do not. I want my kids to always feel like they can come to me, but I don't want them to get themselves into that situation to begin with. And that's the it's the delicate part of the whole thing. Just don't get the cops involved. Don't do anything that's worthy of the cops or the hospital or an ambulance, please. Can we just not do that? We do, more innocent things, Oh, we caught your kid toilet papering a house. Okay, that I can handle. Okay, can we do that? No, nothing that involves kidnapping charges or anything like that. I don't want any attention like that. We have time. I know I'm a little late, but before we get to my tease about the USPS after Kim's news, there is a proposal to build the world's largest Costco in none other than Fresno, California. Now,
got to get something to lure people to Fresno, Now,
I don't know how many people call it this. I know that in my circle, and I'm not knocking people that live in Fresno. If you live there, I don't know Fresno, but I have heard that the nickname of it is the armpit of at least Central California, right? Like it's not, but it is up and coming. I was looking at housing prices there. It's going up because everything is in California. John says it has 500,000 people, so it's huge. But the world's largest Costco, is that going to be enough? Apparently, it's going to be 241,000 square feet. The average size of a typical is 146,000 square feet. It'd be similar in size to a store in Salt Lake City, Utah, that just opened. The new proposed site would top that store by 6,000 feet. So then it would be the world's largest. It would be a store, and this is what I actually like about it, an e-commerce fulfillment center. Now, some people say it's too big, obviously. There's schools in the area. Kids are going to be walking by, that sort of thing. Other people are welcoming it. They say, we like it. We like something bigger. When we get bigger, we get more business and more items that you can choose. Anybody love Costco that much that they would want a gigantic one?
Well, the thing is, this Costco is 3 miles away from the other Costco, but apparently there's so much demand.
Right.
That they got to build this other one, which leads me to believe that Fresno is like one of the last affordable places in California. That's why everyone's moving there, and they need a whole nother Costco, and not just any Costco, a super Costco. So
right.
I like Costco. It's already a huge warehouse.
You don't have Costco's in Petaluma, right? I mean, it's Petaluma.
No, we're kind of in between. There's one in Novato, which is the town that is south of us. And there's one in Runner Park, which is the town that is north of us. So we have to travel to a different town for Costco.
How long does it take you to get to Costco? Like, really? If you were going to go half hour?
I usually go to the Runner Park Costco, and I would say 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes. That's not too bad. So we have many Costco's in San Jose. Yeah. Let's see. We have one... So near me, I'm sure there's actually more than the ones that I would actually go to. So there's one on Almaden, the Almaden Plaza Costco. There's one on the east side, Story. I think there's a Costco there.
We have lots of Costco's in town.
Yeah, we like our Costco's.
Yeah.
Then there's the one that my husband goes to, but it's over more in the Mountain View type area. That's the one that I don't go to Costco if I don't have to. I don't want. No, because one, it's just a thing. I feel like it's just okay. I'm going to Costco, right? And then you spend way too much money. So my husband actually went to Costco yesterday. We were out of toilet paper and paper towels, and I had to specifically tell him, like, don't go crazy. I'm like, we have a lot of things that we're doing this weekend.
It's hard
when
you go to Costco.
$1,000 easy, easy,
without even batting an eyelash.
Yep, not even No. So, There's a Great Oaks Costco. Yeah, there's a bunch of Costco's. I'm just trying to think of all of them off the top of my head. But yeah, unless you're going there specifically, they didn't have the bulgogi that I wanted. I told you guys that I lost Dylan in the Hawaii Costco, didn't I?
No, you didn't tell me that story.
Yeah, I lost my son for an uncomfortable amount of time inside the Costco because I had to teach my son about the lesson of hugging a tree. If you're looking for someone in Costco, you really hope that person stops walking because I think we were just kind of doing this to each other. Like I had to literally stand there. My husband leaves with all the groceries with my daughter. I don't have my phone. I'm yelling in this friggin' Costco for my son. I always lose Dylan. I swear to God, I have reamed this kid's butt about staying in one place more times in his young life than I feel comfortable. But yeah, so
I always say
it's too big.
I always say wherever we go, and so hopefully it's beaten into their head. Okay, if we get lost and separated from each other, what do we do?
Right.
And they always say the answer is pick one place and stand there.
Stand there.
That's it. One place and stand there. Sometimes beforehand, we'll even, not that everyone gets lost all the time, but
yeah,
like if we're going to a fair or an event, I'll say, okay, see that giant chicken at the Petaluma Fair?
That's our meetup spot.
That's our meeting spot. See this place in Disneyland, this particular bench? Here's where you go if I'm missing you. You sit there on that bench and you don't go with anyone but me, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, but you don't think that, I mean, I just, in the Costco apparently is a place I need to add to that list. If I do exactly the same thing at fairs and places like that.
Right.
Costco, my son, it's just my son. He just does this to me all the time. But anyways, all right. Kim's going to do a few headlines and I will get to the Postal Service and explain why the check should never be in the mail. That's next.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
Well, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he is only considering an impeachment inquiry into President Biden at this time, not actually impeachment.
What impeachment inquiry does when you vote on the floor, it gives you the apex of power of Congress.
Yeah. Okay. So
basically it's a distraction that he can keep yelling impeachment, 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 and not actually do anything.
That's right. He made the distinction while talking to reporters today, saying the inquiry gives Congress more power to obtain the documents they need to investigate the president. So Speaker McCarthy earlier this week said Republican-led investigations into the Biden family business dealings are rising to the level of an impeachment inquiry. House Republicans leading the investigation accused Bidens of taking bribes from foreign entities through his son Hunter during his time as vice president. IRS whistleblowers have also accused the DOJ of giving Hunter Biden preferential treatment in his criminal tax case. The White House, of course, denying the allegations, and we've yet to see any proof.
Right.
So
there's no line that I have seen or heard. Well, he's the president's son. He talked to the president. Yeah, it's his dad. And he was on drugs. Like, I mean, whatever. Prove your case. That's all I ask. Just prove it. Don't just do all innuendo crap, please.
No.
Just don't.
LeBron James' oldest son, Bronny, which you mentioned yesterday, is being discharged from the hospital today after having sudden cardiac arrest. TMZ reporting the attack happened during a workout at USC, where the 18-year-old plays basketball. A Cedars-Sinai medical group doctor said James is showing encouraging signs of recovery and is now home resting. He said despite his collapse, he arrived at the hospital fully conscious and stable. LeBron James saying in a statement this morning his family is doing great and that he appreciates all the support. But that had to have been, as a parent, a really scary moment.
Really, yeah.
Extreme heat intensifying in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. About 150 million Americans across the nation, they say, are at risk of having a heat-related health emergency. Intense heat is spread along the highly populated I-95 corridor, doubling down the south when emergency rooms are receiving heat-related burn victims and even animals suffering from heat illnesses. Heat indexes are expected to exceed 100 degrees across many parts of the country this week. And I was reading earlier that this is on track to be the hottest July ever recorded.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And And we mentioned this a little earlier, but Senator Dianne Feinstein appears to have been confused during a committee vote Thursday. California Democrat called on to voice her vote during a Senate Appropriations Committee meeting. But rather than saying aye or nay, the senator launched into a speech about her support for the bill. About 15 seconds after she started speaking, an aide leaned in and whispered into her ear, "Just say aye." The 89-year-old's moment came, she's actually 90 now. Her moment came a day after Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell froze during a news conference after he trailed off while speaking to reporters. So a couple of them having some issues. Governor Gavin Newsom is offering to help solve labor problems in Hollywood. Reports say Governor Newsom was supposed to appear at the Democratic governor's meeting in Los Angeles Monday, but the governor was a no-show due to back problems. California Democratic insiders say Newsom was busy trying to help negotiate with the actors and writers' strike against the movie studios. Writers have been on strike since May, while actors joined them earlier this month.
Yeah. Hold on. I think that, how long do you think this thing's going to last? I mean, do you think that the governor sees how much this is going to hurt, obviously Hollywood and everything that we do here in the state of California? I want it to end, but I don't want the actors and writers to give an inch, right?
No.
I want them to get their protections.
I want them to
So
be incredibly strong. Yeah.
absolutely. So I'm
They've
hoping
been
that
getting
he
screwed for too long.
exactly. I want the governor to help. I don't want the governor to hurt. It's like, we're not rushing this through. We get what we want.
It's interesting when you think about what he would have to do, because he kind of has to straddle the line between tech companies, which, let's not, beat around the bush. They have supported him and given him money to his campaign. So you want, the motion picture, industry, but also AI and tech companies, right? So he has to kind of have that in
Netflix
mind.
is based here. I mean, Disney, everything it's definitely going to be a delicate dance for Newsom. That's for sure.
SpaceX is going to try to conduct back-to-back launches tonight from Florida's Space Coast. The company will first attempt to send 22 Starlink communication satellites into low Earth orbit. That's at 10:20 tonight. I guess East Coast time. Less than an hour later, SpaceX will conduct another attempt for its Falcon Heavy rocket from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. If successful, it carries the largest commercial communication satellite ever built. Lingering showers and thunderstorms could push back both launches, but we'll see some lights in the sky tonight if everything goes well. The Nikki Medoro Show is crowd-funded, which means we rely on you. You can find us at the NikkiMedoroShow.com, where you'll find the Patreon and the PayPal links. And thank you for the Super Chats, because the Super Chat is live. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Okay, let's get into this in the last 15 minutes or so of the show. Kim was just talking about Governor Newsom kind of trying to help out, I guess, move things along with the writers and actors strike. Newsom also came out to give an update on the revamping of San Quentin. Remember, we spoke with Emily Hoven over at the Chronicle about this when it was first coming out. And now some more details about this $380 million plan to build a rehabilitation campus at San Quentin. So let's see. The new building, these are just some of the things that it's going to be doing. It's going to expand programming and kind of curtail wait lists. So inmates can get a GED or a college degree, but they need to come off the wait list first. So they're going to try to reduce that. So obviously, rehabilitation needs to include education. The campus will provide 100,000 square feet of programming space to help reduce those wait lists of people that want to get into the education and career program. I like that. They say nearly half of those released from California prisons will be convicted within 3 years, according to the latest data. But if you give them jobs and skills, it reduces the recidivism rate immensely. Let's see. The new campus will also serve more inmates at San Quentin. The investments made are going to be used by other prisons across the country. They're going to be focusing on re-entry into the community, housing. They're going to also help with correctional staff. They say correctional officers suffer from depression, PTSD, and suicide. I just had an old friend that I used to live with, I believe in Sacramento. I don't think she still lives there anymore. She just got a job as a prison nurse. I don't know if I could do that job. I mean, working in the prisons, it's gotta be tough.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going every day into a place like that. And it's needed. I mean, we need the staff, we need all of that sort of thing. But my God.
My husband worked with a guy in technology at this company in Redwood City. And the man decided to make a whole new life for himself. So he became took his tech knowledge and became the tech support person at this prison. I want to say it was, I don't know if it was Corcoran. It's somewhere in California, but like in a desolate area, right?
Okay.
Kind of somewhere in the Sierra. And then he went, because the pay was higher, from being the prison tech person to a prison guard. And there was some horrible stabbing incident where prisoners revolted. The guy got stabbed, went into a huge state of depression, and eventually, didn't survive it. And so
that
really
sucks.
sad situation, but it's that kind of thing you're talking about, where it's a hard job. You're worried about your safety, but you're also seeing the kind of sad part of humanity and what happens to people.
Right.
I also have a friend who lives here in Petaluma who's a guard at San Quentin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I feel though, like turning what used to be death row at San Quentin, right? The big house, into this area of rebirth, reemergence, where they can take classes and better themselves and look at the future that they have once they get out, like life on the outside, and prepare for that. I feel like maybe and I don't know if every state is considering that and doing it, but I feel like it's a total switch from the punishment to the rehabilitation, and a complete different flavor change from what you think of when you drive by San Quentin. Because right now I look at it, or in the past I looked at it, and I thought, that's the bad place. That's the place where you go to die. That's the place where the real bad criminals go.
It's supposed to be you don't want to go there.
Well,
But if you're already there, we
There's
should
hope.
rehabilitate you unless we're keeping you forever, which we don't want to. It's expensive. It makes more sense, and it makes more economical sense to make sure that the people that we're sending out of prison are ready for reentry.
Sure.
Now, Karen wrote in, so my husband used to repair copiers and printers and had to service them in San Quentin. He was warned every time that if he was taken hostage, they couldn't guarantee anything.
God, that's
No,
awful.
thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, I'm encouraged. I think we really need to look at rehabilitation. Again, it's easier to stop the problem. Like, let's work on it. We need to work on the people, whether it's giving them the mental health care they need, getting them obviously off drugs, and making sure they have a skill that applies to the outside world, because otherwise, guess what they're going to probably do? Find their old hood with their old friends and go back to their old ways. That makes no sense.
And that doesn't benefit them or us as a society, right?
But you also have to fight against people that are saying, oh, look what they're giving these people cable.
We're softies.
Yeah, they're soft on crime. No wonder people want to go to prison. I don't know why I have an accent when I'm saying stuff like that. But yeah, you have to fight against, investing in prisoners. And people are like, that money could be better spent somewhere else. Well, not really, because these people aren't staying here forever. Right? They're not going to stay. My sister-in-law, I don't know. I can never remember if I share these stories or if I just think about sharing them. When she was out here, she was saying in Arizona, somebody was saying nobody that's ever been to prison or jail should ever be a part of society ever again. And she was flabbergasted.
Well, so that you lock up everybody? So
and my sister-in-law was like, what? Send them like Australia or some island in the middle of nowhere? What?
And that's it? Like
that's it? That's your answer to crime?
Write you off for the rest of your life?
Insane.
Silly.
Terrible attitude to have about human beings, right? That make mistakes.
And
I'm not saying some unforgivable, but mistakes.
If you are going to be more realistic and give someone an end date to their sentence,
right,
then you have to assume that they've served their time, and you have to give them hope for the future, because if they don't, people come out with no hope, then they're just, they're just going to repeat the cycle all over again.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's hard. Now, speaking of crimes, I'm gonna get to the story. We didn't get to everything that I wanted to talk, but I love having the conversations that we have. But I do, since I teased it, want to get to the USPS story. Speaking of crimes, you would think that stealing money from the mail would be a declining crime, because who writes checks anymore? A lot of people.
Grandma's birthday checks.
Yeah. So the Sacramento Bee had this story, and they were saying this one property manager they were interviewing says whenever she hears someone say the check is in the mail, she worries because she's afraid of it getting stolen. She apparently has her own mail stolen, and those of 145 small business tenants. And this is just her company that have had their mail stolen. She says the U.S. Postal Service, banks, and police are not doing enough about rising rates of mail theft. Apparently, mail theft is thought to be an outdated problem, but they forget that, one, people still mail checks. There are credit cards inside the mail and greeting cards with cash inside. So what is the number one thing if you're going to send anybody money? What is the number one thing that could possibly protect you? Do you know what it is? So let's say it's grandma. Okay. Grandma wants to send little Johnny
cash or a check in the mail.
So, and if she is, what should you do? Obviously, I would say it's better to send a check than cash. Right. Because
and then you wrap it in white paper so no one can see through the envelope and see what it is.
But do you want to know what the number one way to kind of hope that your piece of mail isn't stolen is to never use those bright colored envelopes that you get with your cards.
Oh.
Because people see them and they're dollars to donuts believing there's a real card.
It's a birthday card?
It's a birthday card.
Oh, okay.
So if you go to the card store and you're like, oh, I got a great card for Johnny, and it's like a bright yellow envelope, get a different envelope because that fits the card, because people will always grab those ones first. Also, if it's fancy, if you're using fancy stamps, some people think that that's another way of spotting cards that could have money. What are some of the other ones? Yeah, basically, they're saying you shouldn't send any sort of money. And if you do send a check, you might not want to call and ask the person because they obviously haven't thanked you for it if you don't know, but make sure that they received it. How many stories do you see? Oh, a bunch of mail was thrown into the river.
Right.
Some frustrated postal worker. Somebody stole it out of a mail truck or something like that. I was like, was my mail in there? If I mailed something to my brother in Arizona, how am I going to know, the route that it was on? Apparently, let's see. There's one media report said one business lost nearly $100,000 worth of checks because they had been stolen from inside a local post office. Another U.S. Postal Service employee was charged with stealing more than $40,000 in business checks. So yeah, basically what they're telling people is stop putting checks in the mail. If you could pay people online, obviously that's the best way.
Right.
Be smart about that.
So now it'll be a birthday Venmo, right? A birthday PayPal.
Venmo. Katie asked an interesting question though. What about the obvious envelopes from Comcast, PG&E? I still pay those bills online though. I don't send checks in the mail.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. And SF Tesla was just taking the words right out of my mouth. I had a landlord who would insist on being paid by check. Some people do, kind of for that paper trail a little bit. I pay my landlord like by Zelle or whatever, like online, like through my bank. I don't use. And yeah, there are business envelopes that kind of obscure things for you. So you don't necessarily need to wrap it in a piece of paper. But again, you want to stop people from spotting your envelope. So the number one tip and trick that they give you is never, ever use a bright envelope.
Well, I would say that, when you pay through the bank, doesn't your bank send a check to people? Like when you were managing your money online. So you're not sending the check. The bank is sending the check to whoever it is you're trying to pay.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But then there's a trail that way. Right. So I think
they don't send the
no
money
longer on me.
electronically. They're still sending out a check on your behalf, I think.
I think that's how I always, I don't know, because now I'm thinking, is Zelle just from one bank account to another bank account? There's no actual
I think
check.
so. Like
Yeah,
when
I
you
think.
go in your bank and you're paying your PG&E bill online, PG&E doesn't electronically. I mean, the bank
They do
doesn't
electronically take it from your bank account.
Does the bank? Yes, the bank takes it electronically from your bank account, but do they electronically transfer it to PG&E, or do they cut PG&E a check?
Ooh, I don't know. I only thought that the bank cut a check if I want to pay my, I don't even know if this is true. We're going to have to look this up. This is a great question, because I always thought, let's just say if I'm sending it to some rando company that I'm only paying once by check, then it would be written.
Okay.
But if it was like PG&E and I have to put my bank information in there,
like,
because they always want the routing number, but they always ask for the routing number too. I don't know.
I mean, I've thought about what I'm doing on my end, but I haven't thought about what the banks are doing on their end. So,
okay. So Harry says for most online bills, it's an electronic transfer.
Okay.
But PT writes in, bill pay through the bank will sometimes send a paper check, but that it's rare, as most transactions are handled electronically.
Thanks,
Which
you guys.
again begs the question of why I'm paying so many damn service fees to the bank when you know they're just going, stop it already. Stop acting like it's so much freaking work over here that I got to pay all kinds of stupid service fees. All right. Great show today, guys. Ooh, Kim, excellent point. But again, this is kind of like one of those side businesses. Kim wants a cash or a check, but I would want cash, Kim. Venmo, she doesn't want Venmo to 1099 me because Venmo has that limit now. What is it? $600? If you get paid more than $600, you got to fill out a 1099. I hear you, my friend. I don't like any sort of paperwork. Wish everything could be under the table. Leave the government out of this conversation. Say hi, Dylan. All right, there we go. All right. Dylan has snuck in, so that must mean the show is about to end.
Dylan.
You guys, please click the thumbs up button before the end of the show. Thank you. It helps us. It helps you to kind of show the show to other people that like to talk about the things we're talking about. The super chat is live, and a big thank you and happy birthday to Harry, who came in with a $50 donation. And another happy birthday to you, my friend. A big thank you to Kung Fu Femmes for that $10 super sticker, and Wes, huge supporter of the show as well, with a $5 super sticker. We really do appreciate it. Oh, love the balloons. Happy birthday, Harry. Happy birthday. And again, you guys, please go to our website, the show's website, thenikkimedoroshow.com, and sign up to become an official Medorable, and email me ideas. I was talking about this earlier. Somebody sent me a drawing, Jim, I believe it was, as the kind of symbol for Medorables. I wasn't thinking of a cartoon image of myself, but I'm taking ideas. Email them to me as well. thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. I want to make buttons, maybe a sticker or a bumper sticker. Some of you want sweatshirts or t-shirts, but we have to come up with a design. So I'm taking suggestions. And again, on Tuesday, August 1st, is when we move this show to the morning, 9 to 11, and you have to go to Mark from 11 to 1, and then Kim McAllister hosting the After Party Live with John Daly. Go to theafterparty.live. She already has the subscribers needed. Thank you guys so much for making it happen. That all starts on Tuesday. I love our family. I just love our family right here. I love you, buddy.
Hi,
all right.
Dylan.
We'll talk tomorrow, guys. Bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.